In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, to whom we all have to turn back. Honorable listeners and respectable audience, you know that we have started a series of linguistics. In linguistics, we have commenced the chapter, and it is about syntax, which is the study of the structure of a sentence, that how the sentence is structured. Listeners and audience, if you remember, day before yesterday our topic was how to recognize a subordinate clause. Today our topic is the difference between root sentence and subordinate clause. You know, I told you that subordinate clause is started with subordinating words. Subordinate clause starts with subordinating conjunctions, and subordinating clause also starts with question phrase. For more understanding, you can listen to the previous lecture. Listeners and audience, further I want to add more points about subordinate clause and then also the difference between root sentence and subordinate clause. You see, whenever we are talking about the root sentence, in root sentence, it does not start with the infinitive marker. On the other hand, subordinate clause start with infinitive marker. For example, I am writing a sentence. You see, I wanted to live. Now, let me to tell you about the difference between subordinate clause and root sentence. Here, you see we have I wanted. It is a root sentence. Okay? And to live, it is subordinate clause. Why? Because it starts from the marker which we call infinitive marker. And collectively we call it infinitive what? Infinitive phrase or infinitive. So that's why you remember that it starts with infinitive marker. That's why it is what clause? It is subordinate clause. And the question is that what would be the structure of its syntactic structure? So the structure of it would be, we have S means sentence, in sentence we have NP, NVP. NP that is I, and VP that is we wanted. Now we are taking infinitive, we are taking another string that is S, root sentence. This is subordinate clause. So that's why we are taking here is a we mean VP verb phrase, and verb phrase we have infinitive that is to, and live that is verb. So this is the structure. So I told you that this is the main difference between the root sentence and the subordinate clause. The subordinate clause, it also has or it also starts with what? With infinitive phrase. So here we have infinitive clause or infinitive phrase to live. Okay. Now remember that here it is preceded by the verb. It is preceded by to marker. It means after the to, which is infinitive, that is a verb. While when we are talking about the root sentence, in root sentence, the verb is not preceded by to infinitive. This is the main difference. Okay. Similarly, we also have that subordinate clause can be started with for. It means it can be started with for conjunction, subordinating conjunction. Whenever we are talking about to live, so as a whole, subordinate clause which starts with subordinating conjunction as a whole, along with infinitive marker. How it is? Let me provide another example. For example, I have a sentence, I wanted, yes. For example, I wanted very much I wanted very much for John to live. For John to live. Now, listeners and audience, in this sentence, you see, I wanted very much for John to live. What is subordinate clause here? So here we have subordinate clause for John to live. How it is subordinate clause? Because it starts with subordinating conjunction as a whole. And we also have here to infinitive or infinitive marker, which okay, and here the verb is preceded by infinitive marker. Here it is a root sentence. I wanted very much, because here it is the verb is not preceded by to infinitive, and this is subordinate clause. Okay. So now what is the sentence structure, the syntactic structure? Here we have S, it means sentence, then we have NP and VP. In NP we have I, that is and, wanted, that is verb, okay, and then here we have very much. So here it is adverbial phrase. So adverbial phrase ADVP, adverbial phrase, that is adverb of degree or degree modifier, and much, that is adverb. Okay. Now we are taking the string from verb. Yes, the string we are taking from what? From verb phrase. So now for is what? We are taking the string for its subordinate clause SC. Okay. Then here John is what? John is NP. Yes, so that is N, and then we are taking from the SVP. Yes, and VP we have what? Infinitive, which is to, and we also have live, that is verb. So this is the structure of what? This is the structure of this sentence. I wanted very much for John to live. Okay, the last point we have, that is the subject can be accusative. Accusative. What does it mean? It means that whenever we are talking about the subordinate clause, in subordinate clause, the subject of the sentence, it would be accusative. However, whenever we are talking about the clause, we are talking about which clause? The root sentence. Here the subject of the sentence cannot be accusative. For example, how it is? One sentence just for understanding. Like you see, he wanted me to live. Listeners and audience, you see, he wanted me to live. Here we have subordinate clause. Why? Because here you see the subject of the subordinate clause, it is accusative. Why it is accusative? Because it starts not with the subject, but here the subject of it is accusative. But again here when we say he wanted, here the sentence cannot be started me wanted. Why? Because the subordinate clause can start with accusative case, but here the root sentence does not start with accusative. So this is the difference. Okay. So now let's draw the tree structure of it as well. We have S, and as we have NP and VP. And NP, that is he and, VP, that is wanted, so it's V, and then we are taking another string for it, and here we have NP, yes, that is me, so yes, it's N. Okay, then we have to leave, we are taking here is VP, and VP we are having an infinitive, and we also have verb, that is live. This is the structure. There is one point which I would like to mention. It's very, very important, and it is, remember that the role of a subordinate clause is that subordinate clause is actually a constituent. It means that it is a group of words which can move from one place to another in a sentence. It can be replaced as a whole. It can be deleted. And it can be the subject. It can be play the role of a subject. And it can be also as an object of the verb. And it can be a modifier. So hope that this topic is clear to you.